Okay, so once you have your sleeve drafted, what we need to do is we need to check how this fits into the armhole on the bodice. So this one is the front. So what I'll do is I'll grab the front bodice and I'll lay them down on top of each other. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot this curve along these curves and see where they land. So, and when I do that, I'm going to start at the underarm, and I'm going to pivot around, and wherever this stops on this curve, I'm going to make a mark for it. And then I'll write the letter F there. So I put the underarm intersection right on top of each other, and then I put my pencil there, and I pivot there. So my underarm curve is lining up, it's right on top of the sleeve curve until the first notch actually. So I'm going to transfer the first notch there, and then I'm going to put my pencil where the two lines start to deviate from each other, and then I'm going to pivot. So now they're deviating from each other right here, so I'm going to move my pencil there, and then pivot. And now they're deviating from each other right here, so move my pencil and pivot. And I just keep repeating that. Now, this is where my front hits. So I'll write an F right next to that line. So that's where my front walks to. Now I'll do the same thing with the back. So put the armhole, underarm intersections on top of each other, and then align the armhole and the sleeve. And then mine actually line up to this first notch, and then they deviate. So it's going to make wonky, crooked notches. And then there's the second notch. And then that's where they start to deviate. So I put my pencil on top of there and pivot. So I'm kind of like pretending like I'm sewing it. And then if you have dark pencil lines, you can just kind of scribble on the back of your pattern and it'll transfer the mark. But I'm just going to fold it back, and right at my shoulder, I'll put a B for back. So the distance from here to here, from where my back hit to where my front hit, and they should be apart from each other. If they overlap, that's one problem that we'll have to solve. If they're apart from each other, that's good, but then we need to see how far away from each other. So like I said earlier, the book suggests like I think 1 1/4 to 1.5 inches ease. Let's see what I have here. I have 1 inch, which is a good amount. So I'm happy with the 1 inch ease. 3/4 to 1 inch, even 5/8 I think is okay. The less ease, the easier it is to sew. However, you need the right amount in order for it to have the right effect on the arm. So page 59 shows what I just did, the walking, and then on the next page, or a couple pages away, it talks about fixing the ease somewhere there. So fixing the ease is on page 62. So they give you several suggestions. So if any of you have too much or too little would be that the front and the back are too close to each other, or that you're, like if you walk your front first and then you walk your back and your back crosses over where the front stopped. So if any of that happens, then we'll look at it and I'll use your patterns as an example of what you can do. But you can slash and spread the sleeve cap. I might have some actual examples that I did that I can lay out. You can slash along the biceps line and along the center. So these two little pieces are like hinged, and then you can bring them together or spread them apart as needed. And then you can also, depending on what you have, because if you put it all in one place, sometimes you lose some of the balance. So sometimes what we do is we take the amount and we spread the pain, and we put a little in the shoulders and a little in the underarm and a little in the sleeve cap, so that it stays balanced and it's not all getting pushed in one direction or another. So if you guys have any of those issues where you get, like an inch, more than an inch and a half, then I'll show you what to do. Or if you get less than 3/4, I'll show you what to do. But let's just hope that it all comes out. And I think it will, because some of you, I was measuring your armholes and they were coming out really similar to mine, which means you should end up with something really similar to mine. It doesn't always happen that way, but it seems to be working out really well right now. So we might not have anything to show, but if you're curious, it's on page 62, some of what to do. All right? Okay. The next thing to do after lunch will be to start talking about the markings, but we'll do that after lunch.